Chosen ones, you have been summoned across the vast stretches of time, called by whispers hidden deep within the ancient waters of Atlantis. The tides have spoken your name, and the earth trembles beneath the weight of long-forgotten prophecies. For centuries, Atlantis remained a mere whisper in the corridors of myth, a legend told to children and seekers alike. But you, the awakened, know the truth. You feel it in your bones, the distant echo of a world that was and a world that will be again. Beneath the surface of the great oceans lies the remnants of a civilization unmatched in wisdom and power. The crystalline towers still pulse with energy, waiting for the return of those who would heed their call. You were seen, foreseen by the Atlantean seers, standing at the edge of destiny as the earth began to shift. The tides themselves whispered your coming, churning with anticipation as the ancient seals began to crack. They say the waters hold memories, echoes of the past captured in the waves. If you listen closely, you can hear them, voices carried across the currents, speaking of the shifting earth, of the one who would rise when the time was right. Atlantis warned of this moment, its guardians holding vigil beneath the waves, waiting for the signal. And that signal is here. The earth groans, its crust shifting, its waters rising, signaling the beginning of a new age. You are not alone, chosen one. Others feel the call, scattered across the globe, waking to the same whispers, the same visions of towers shining beneath the waves. The world is stirring, ancient gates creaking open, revealing secrets long hidden. The prophecy is unfolding, and you stand at its center, the heart of its awakening. The ocean was restless. Beneath the shimmering surface, something ancient began to stir. For millennia, the depths had kept their secrets well hidden, guarded by time and tides. But now, the waters whispered of change, of movement beneath the silt and stone. Ancient structures, long buried and forgotten, groaned as if waking from a 1,000-year slumber. The currents shifted, spiraling towards a single point, a place untouched by human eyes for eons. Deep below, the crystalline towers of Atlantis shimmered with a faint, pulsing light. Their structures, flawless and unmarred by time, began to hum with energy. The walls, inscribed with symbols of power and prophecy, glowed softly, reflecting hues of sapphire and emerald across the silent city. It was as if the towers themselves remembered the age of kings and sages, of watchers and seers. And now they were preparing. Far above, the surface world remained oblivious. Ships crossed the waters without pause. Satellites mapped the ocean floors. Yet none could detect the subtle tremors that rippled across the seabed. But some felt it, those attuned to the whisper of the deep. Dreams of cities rising from the water haunted their sleep. Visions of towers gleaming under the waves flickered behind closed eyes. The chosen were beginning to wake. It was said that Atlantis would only stir when the earth began its shift, a cosmic alignment foretold by the ancients. The crystalline heart of the city pulsed once more, sending out waves of energy that traveled silently through the ocean currents, seeking those who would answer the call. The awakening had begun, slow but unstoppable, a tide that would not be turned back. Far beneath the surface, lights flickered in unison, spreading from tower to tower, like a heartbeat resuming after centuries of stillness. The waters trembled, and with it, the very foundation of the world seemed to respond. The guardians of Atlantis stirred from their watchful slumber, sensing the change. Prophecies whispered through time were now set in motion. Beneath the ocean's surface, deeper than any human had dared to explore, the guardians of Atlantis held their vigil. They were not mere protectors, they were watchers, timeless beings woven from light and memory, bound to the fate of the city they swore to protect. Cloaked in ethereal robes that shimmered like liquid silver, their eyes glowed with the light of distant stars, gazing out across the endless expanse of water with unyielding focus. For centuries, they had waited in silence, their forms unmoved by the passing of ages. The tides came and went, storms raged above, but the guardians remained, statuesque and eternal. Their purpose was singular, to protect the secrets of Atlantis until the prophecy unfolded. And now, the signs were clear. The earth was shifting, and the waters trembled with anticipation. Ancient seals, once unbreakable, had begun to crack, whispering echoes of long-forgotten power. From the depths of their vigil, the guardians stirred. Symbols carved into the walls of the crystalline towers began to glow, lines of light stretching out like veins of fire. One by one, their eyes opened, shining with the radiance of ages past. A low hum filled the water, resonating through the walls and reverberating across the ocean floor. The watchers knew the time had come. The chosen one had awakened. The eldest of the guardians stepped forward, his robes trailing like smoke in the water. His hands, long and delicate, moved gracefully over an altar of sapphire stone, inscribed with the language of the ancients. His voice, though silent to human ears, echoed through the water, a ripple of thought and intention that spread across the depths. It was a call, a signal to the city, and to the one who had been marked by destiny. In the annals of Atlantis, hidden within crystal-bound libraries and etched into walls of sapphire stone, the prophecy of the shifting earth lay preserved. It spoke of an era when the balance of the world would tilt, when mountains would groan and oceans would rise to reclaim their dominion. The stars would realign, marking the return of those who had been chosen to restore the ancient order. Among the verses, one line was carved deeper than the rest, shimmering with an ethereal glow. When the earth begins to shift, the chosen shall awaken, and the path to Atlantis shall be revealed. Across the globe, subtle signs began to manifest. Earthquakes in places long thought stable, tides reaching further than before, and strange lights flickering beneath the ocean's surface. Scientists dismissed it as anomalies, temporary shifts in the Earth's crust, but those who knew, those bound by the ancient texts, recognized the signs. The Earth was moving, realigning with the energy pathways etched into its surface by the ancients. Hidden societies stirred, poring over scrolls and fragments of prophecy. Whispers spread among the secret circles. The chosen one has awakened. The shifting has begun. In places untouched by modern eyes, elders spoke of Atlantis not as myth, but as history, sealed away until the time of its return. And now, the time was drawing near. The guardians of Atlantis, now awakened from their ageless vigil, moved through the crystalline towers, preparing the pathways. Energy pulsed through the structures, lighting the veins of quartz and sapphire that ran like rivers through the city's walls. Their movements were methodical, deliberate, as if enacting rituals performed countless times before. They were preparing for the alignment, for the return of the ancient power that once flowed freely through the land. But there was another verse in the prophecy, one less spoken of, hidden from most texts, and whispered only among the eldest of the guardians. When the earth shakes and the waters rise, seek the one who carries the light of the Nazarene. For through them the seal shall break, and Atlantis shall rise. A subtle nod to Yeshua, the bringer of light and the keeper of hidden truths. Beneath the swirling currents of the Atlantic, hidden from the prying eyes of man, stood the crystalline towers of Atlantis. They reached up from the ocean floor like fingers of glass, shimmering with an inner light that pulsed with ancient energy. These towers were not merely structures, they were conduits, channels of power designed to harness the very breath of the earth. Encased in translucent stone, their surfaces were inscribed with symbols that glowed faintly, responding to the shifting tides and the alignment of the stars. For millennia, the towers had lain dormant, their power contained, waiting for the return of the Chosen One. Now, as the earth began its shift, currents of energy snaked through their veins, igniting pathways long forgotten. Deep within their cores, chambers awakened. Mechanisms older than civilization groaned to life, humming with the resonance of the earth's heart. The guardians moved silently through these halls, their forms casting ethereal shadows against the glowing walls. The architecture of the towers was unlike anything on the surface world. Spirals of light that twisted upward, leading to altars of quartz and obsidian. At the center of each tower lay a heartstone, a gem the size of a man's chest, suspended in midair, pulsing with rhythmic light. These stones, it was said, were fragments of the great star that fell during the age of creation, imbued with the wisdom and energy of the cosmos. Legends whispered among the guardians spoke of the tower's purpose, to bridge the world of men with the divine, to channel celestial energy into the earth during times of great upheaval. Each stone, each symbol, held a specific resonance, a frequency that aligned with the very fabric of reality. And when activated, the towers would act as beacons, calling forth the ancient forces buried beneath the waves. Yet, there was more to their secret, an enigma etched into the very core of the towers. Hidden within the deepest chamber of the central spire was a gateway, a shimmering portal inscribed with the name of Yeshua in the language of the ancients. It was said that only the Chosen One, marked by destiny, could pass through its veil to unlock the truth of Atlantis. The towers pulsed brighter, the energy swelling with each passing moment. The earth continued to shift, and the guardians prepared. The secret of the towers had begun to awaken, and with it, the path to Atlantis would soon be revealed. Far beyond the reach of mortal sight, nestled between realms where light and shadow converge, the watchers stirred from their ageless slumber. These sentinels of Atlantis, neither Holy Spirit nor flesh, had been tasked with observing the tides of time and safeguarding the secrets of the ancient city. Their eyes, glowing with ethereal light, pierced through the veil of dimensions, watching and waiting for the prophecy to unfold. For millennia, they had remained silent, suspended in a state of timeless awareness, bound by their oath to guard the gateways of Atlantis. Each watcher held a staff crowned with a shard of pure sapphire, pulsing in rhythm with the heart of the earth. Their garments shimmered like liquid starlight, whispering with every movement, as if woven from threads of time itself. They were the silent witnesses of creation, the chroniclers of destiny. When the first tremors shook the deep, the watchers knew Their eyes, unblinking and vast, saw the earth begin to shift, felt the tides ripple with a familiar energy. It was the awakening, the prophecy coming to pass. Slowly, they descended from their watchtowers, passing through corridors of light that shimmered with memories of ages long forgotten. Their voices, soft yet thunderous, spoke words in the tongue of the ancients, calling forth the names of the chosen. Among their sacred texts lay a verse that was known only to them, hidden from even the guardians. When the earth trembles and the waters rise, the watchers shall descend, and the Nazarene's light shall pierce the darkness. A reference, long kept secret, to Yeshua, a beacon of light destined to guide the chosen through the rising tides of destiny. The watchers gathered at the edge of the great gate, their staves glowing brighter with each step. Before them stood the portal to Atlantis, dormant for ages, its surface shimmering with faint traces of light. Symbols etched in Atlantean script pulsed with energy, awaiting the touch of the chosen one. The watchers raised their staves, and a surge of light cascaded from the tips, illuminating the gateway with celestial fire. The waters trembled, and far above, the surface world remained blissfully unaware of the ancient forces stirring beneath its feet. The watchers had returned, and their eyes were fixed upon the chosen one, the key to unlocking the secrets of Atlantis. The waters above Atlantis shimmered with an ethereal glow, pulsing with the rhythm of a distant heartbeat. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, in the heart of the crystalline towers, a whisper began to stir. It was soft at first, barely more than a ripple in the currents, but it grew stronger with each passing moment. Those attuned to the ancient energies felt it, a presence woven into the very fabric of the waters. It was not just a sound, it was a call, a resonance that spoke directly to the soul. The guardians paused in their ritual movements, their eyes flickering with recognition. It was the whisper of Yeshua, a prophecy foretold in the sacred texts of Atlantis. The writings spoke of a voice that would emerge when the earth began its shift, a whisper that would guide the chosen towards the path of light. The guardians turned towards the central spire, where the largest of the heartstones pulsed with vibrant light. Symbols carved in Atlantean script glowed with an intensity that matched the whisper's crescendo. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. The words echoed through the chambers, not spoken aloud, but felt within. It was as if the very waters carried the message, rippling through the crystalline walls and resonating with the heartstones. The guardians bowed their heads in reverence, their hands pressed against their chests in silent acknowledgement of the ancient truth. Far above, those attuned to the currents felt it too. Seers and mystics from hidden circles awoke from their trances, eyes wide with understanding. The whisper of Yeshua had come, just as the prophecies foretold. It was a sign, a beacon of light amidst the coming darkness, a call for the chosen to rise. Deep within the towers, the whisper grew softer, fading into a gentle hum that lingered in the depths. But its presence had been felt, its message clear. The chosen one would not walk alone. The light of Yeshua would guide the path, illuminating the shadows of Atlantis and unraveling the secrets that lay buried beneath the waves. The guardians resumed their silent watch, the light still pulsing from the heartstone, now even brighter than before. The whisper had spoken, and the path forward was clear. But the journey was only just beginning, and the secrets of Atlantis were far from fully revealed. Beneath the shifting waves, the earth trembled, sending ripples across the ocean floor. Ancient mechanisms, long dormant, stirred to life, releasing pulses of energy that surged through hidden pathways. The Guardians watched in silence as light traveled through the crystalline towers, tracing lines of power that spread across the seabed like veins of molten silver. The currents grew stronger, pulling at the silt and stone, revealing what had been concealed for ages: the hidden temples of Atlantis. These temples, shrouded in secrecy since the fall of the great city, were the heart of its power. Constructed from celestial stone and infused with cosmic energy, they lay buried beneath layers of rock and sand, protected by powerful seals. But now, with the earth shifting and the prophecy unfolding, the seals began to crack. Light seeped from beneath the surface, casting an eerie glow upon the depths as colossal gates emerged from the shadows. The Guardians moved swiftly, their robes trailing light as they descended upon the gates. Symbols etched in Atlantean script flared to life, responding to their presence. One by one, they placed their hands upon the cold stone, whispering words in the language of the ancients. The seals glowed with vibrant energy before shattering, sending waves of light rippling through the ocean. The gates groaned, dust and debris falling away as they began to part, revealing the entrance to the temples. Inside, the walls were lined with obsidian mirrors that reflected not the present, but the past. Flickers of the great city, alive and thriving, danced across their surfaces, tall spires stretching toward the heavens, streets lined with beings of light, and temples glowing with energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. The mirrors whispered memories of the Watchers, of the Chosen, and of Yeshua, whose light was inscribed upon the very walls of the city. At the heart of the main temple lay an altar crafted from pure sapphire, its surface shimmering with ethereal light. Suspended above it, rotating slowly in mid-air, was an orb of crystal, the Eye of Atlantis. Legends spoke of its power to reveal the true path, to lift the veil that separated the known world from the forgotten. The Guardians stood watch as the orb began to glow, pulsing with energy that synchronized with the heartstone of the towers. The ocean currents grew restless, spiraling in synchronized patterns as if obeying an ancient command. Deep beneath the waves, the crystalline towers pulsed with light, sending currents of energy towards the newly awakened hidden temples. Symbols carved into the sapphire walls of Atlantis flickered in unison, lighting up paths that stretched far beyond the city's boundaries. The energy converged at a singular point, a massive gateway that shimmered with ethereal light. The Celestial Gates. These gates, long considered myth even among the Guardians, were said to be the bridge between worlds, a passage to realms unseen by mortal eyes. Encased in towering arches of quartz and gold, they stood silent and resolute, etched with symbols that predated written history. It was here that the Guardians gathered, their forms casting shadows of light across the shimmering ground as they prepared for the convergence. The air thickened with energy, vibrating with the resonance of stars. Streams of light poured from the towers and temples, intertwining like threads of fate. The Guardians moved gracefully, their hands tracing symbols in the air, igniting pathways of light that snaked towards the gates. Their voices rose in unison, whispering incantations in the language of Atlantis, a tongue that vibrated with the essence of creation itself. As the energy grew stronger, the gates began to hum, the surface shimmering with waves of light. Symbols upon its archway glowed brighter, revealing fragments of prophecy hidden for millennia. Among them, etched in the tongue of the ancients, was the name of Yeshua, a beacon of light and prophecy intertwined with the fate of Atlantis. His teachings, preserved in secret by the Watchers, were now awakening, their truths unraveling as the gates pulsed with life. Suddenly, the water around the gates began to spiral, creating a vortex that shimmered with 1,000 hues. The Guardians stepped back, their eyes locked upon the swirling light. This was the convergence, the moment when the celestial gates aligned with the energy of the earth, unlocking a path to the hidden realms of Atlantis. The vortex grew, its light spilling out across the ocean floor, illuminating ruins and secrets long forgotten. The crystalline towers pulsed with light, casting shimmering reflections across the ocean floor. Beneath the grand arches of Atlantis, the Guardians moved with purpose, their robes flowing like liquid starlight. Their eyes, aglow with ethereal light, focused on the center of the city, where the Atlantean heart lay dormant. It was the source of the city's power, a gem of impossible size and brilliance, suspended within a column of pure energy. Legend spoke of the heart as the lifeblood of Atlantis, the core that sustained its people and powered its secrets. But with the fall of the great city, the heart had been sealed, hidden away behind layers of protection that only the Chosen One could unlock. The Guardians had waited for this moment, keeping their silent watch until the earth began its shift, and the convergence of the celestial gates marked the time of awakening. The heart was encased within 7 seals, each more intricate than the last. Symbols carved from obsidian and sapphire rotated in synchronized patterns around the core, glimmering with ancient power. These seals were not merely locks, they were living barriers, tied to the essence of Atlantis itself. As the Guardians approached, the symbols began to shift, rearranging themselves as if aware of their presence. One by one, the Guardians placed their hands upon the seals, whispering incantations in the Atlantean tongue. The symbols glowed brighter, spinning faster until streams of light poured from their edges, converging upon the heart. The energy resonated with a deep hum, shaking the very foundations of the city. The Guardians stepped back, their eyes fixed upon the final seal, the one carved with the mark of Yeshua, hidden within the very core of Atlantis. The prophecy had spoken of this moment. When the earth shifts and the celestial gates align, the light of the Nazarene shall break the final seal, and the heart of Atlantis shall awaken. It was said that only the Chosen One, guided by the light of Yeshua, could break the last barrier. The Guardians watched as the seal shimmered, vibrating with anticipation. A pulse of energy rippled through the water, casting waves of light that illuminated the hidden caverns beneath the city. The heart responded, its light growing stronger, brighter, sending out waves of energy that resonated with the depths of the ocean. Atlantis was stirring, its power awakening from its slumber. The waters of the Atlantic shimmered with a light that had not been seen for millennia. From the depths of the ocean, beams of energy spiraled upward, breaking through the surface and scattering into the sky like auroras of pure light. The crystalline towers pulsed in unison, casting ripples of brilliance that illuminated the ocean floor, revealing ruins and pathways long forgotten. Atlantis was awakening, and with it, the world would change. The Guardians stood in formation around the Atlantean heart, their eyes locked on the final seal that still glowed with the mark of Yeshua. Symbols etched in ancient script floated around the core, spinning slowly, humming with power. It was a ritual that had been written in prophecy, a convergence of fate that tied the Chosen One to the very soul of Atlantis. The heart pulsed brighter, sending vibrations through the crystalline walls, shaking the towers and echoing through the deep. Far above, those sensitive to the ancient energies felt the shift. Mystics awoke from trance-like states, their eyes wide with realization. Hidden societies, bound by oaths to protect the secrets of Atlantis, scrambled to decipher the ancient texts they had safeguarded for generations. The earth itself responded. Fault lines trembled, tides grew restless, and the sky flickered with arcs of light. The shifting had begun, and with it, the rise of the chosen era. But there was more. The final seal on the Atlantean heart glowed brighter, its surface cracking as light spilled from its core. It was a call, a beacon, summoning the Chosen One to complete the prophecy. Whispers of Yeshua lingered in the currents, echoing through the waters, filling the Guardians with purpose. I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The words vibrated through the water, resonating with the Guardians who bowed their heads in reverence. The gates of Atlantis, long hidden and sealed from mortal eyes, began to part. Light cascaded from their archways, illuminating paths that stretched into infinity. The Guardians moved aside, their forms shimmering with the energy of the heart as the gateway stood open, awaiting the Chosen One to step through and claim the destiny written before time. Atlantis had returned, and with it, the dawn of a new age was upon the world. But the true journey had just begun, and the secrets of the ancient city were only beginning to be revealed.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.